Have you ever felt like you're only getting the crumbs in a relationship or situationship, but they're holding on to the whole loaf of bread? Picture this scenario. You're on a date with Mr. Krabs and y'all are about to eat dinner. He pulls out a full loaf of bread for himself and nothing for you. And you ask him, "Can I please have some? I'm hungry." And so he rips off a piece of the bread and sprinkles crumbs on the table for you to eat. That's not going to be fulfilling, right? But now picture you're on a date with SpongeBob and y'all are about to eat dinner. He pulls out 2 loaves of bread for each of y'all to eat. You don't even have to ask because it's a given that your needs are going to be met and you're going to be full and happy and satisfied. Even though that example is silly, it really does show the difference between settling for breadcrumbs and being in a fulfilling relationship. In this video, I'm going to talk about breadcrumbing, what it is, how to recognize it, why you might be tolerating it, and how to stop so you can get the fulfilling relationship you deserve. I've been breadcrumbed in the past, and it taught me that settling for breadcrumbs means selling yourself short. Now, if you're in a similar situation, I am here to help you because it's time you start receiving the whole loaf of bread. Breadcrumbing is when a person leads someone on by giving them inconsistent spurts of attention or affection. And the attention keeps the person interested, but it never leads to commitment or progress towards deeper and more meaningful connections with the person. This pattern usually leads to confusion and frustration for the person being breadcrumbed because it leaves them confused on where they even stand in the relationship.
Please, sir, I want some more.
What?
Please, sir, I want some more.
More?
People who breadcrumb usually aren't ready for a serious relationship, but they still want the emotional and physical benefits of being in one. Let me give you some examples of what I mean. Maybe they call or text you every now and then, but there's no depth in the conversations and you never know when you might hear from them again. They might hint at future plans but never commit to an actual date or time, and when they do finally make plans, it's last minute, so it makes you feel like a backup option instead of a priority. They're probably really charming and make you feel special, but there's no real conversation about where the relationship is actually going. They're interested one day, but cold the next, detached the next. They're like, I don't really know what I want, the next. And it just leaves you even more confused and frustrated. And most importantly, their words never match their actions, or they rarely ever do. Whether it's intentional or not, breadcrumbing can be a form of emotional manipulation because it's playing on the hopes and desires of another person, stringing them along without ever actually intending to fulfill on the emotional promises they made to that person. Sometimes the breadcrumber doesn't even realize that they're breadcrumbing because they have their own internal issues that they need to figure out, like fear of commitment or avoidance or something else entirely. But regardless of what they're going through, it's still a shitty feeling to experience breadcrumbing. It's still a shitty feeling to be on the receiving end.
I cannot stand this puta.
Now, if you're thinking, I am definitely being breadcrumbed, this video is for you, and I'm going to give you some reasons for why you might be tolerating a person's breadcrumbs, because believe it or not, it's not all on them. You might fear being alone, pushing you to settle for less than you deserve in an unsatisfying relationship. You might not value yourself, so accepting a person's minimal effort reflects your worth. You might hold on to the false hope that
someday this person will change and they'll give you the effort that you want, they'll give you the commitment that you want, they'll give you everything that you want if you just wait for them to change.
And if this is you, then I suggest that you check out the video I made on waiting for people to change after this video ends. You might not have much relationship experience, or maybe you grew up in an environment where breadcrumbing was normal, so you don't even see them as warning signs or red flags. Or maybe you feel pressured by society to be in a relationship, so you tolerate less than you should. Now, if you relate to any of those reasons, ask yourself, what do healthy relationship dynamics look like to you? What are you looking for in a relationship, and is tolerating this person's minimal effort aligning with your desires? What effect is it having on your mental and your emotional health? It's important to stop tolerating breadcrumbs for multiple reasons. 1. You'll recognize when you're not being treated with the respect you deserve. 2. Being aware of a breadcrumbing pattern allows you to protect yourself by putting an end to it. 3. You'll gain clarity when making decisions and choose relationships with people that bring genuine connection and make you feel fulfilled, not anxious or uncertain. This clarity will help you spot and avoid these patterns in the future, which means you'll create healthier relationships with people who offer you consistency, emotional availability, and real commitment. And 4. Your self-worth will literally skyrocket because you'll go from doubting your value and wondering what you're doing wrong that's making this person not want to commit to you, to instead understanding that someone's inability to commit reflects their issues, not yours. Now I want to talk about how you can stop accepting breadcrumbs. You're going to need to get really clear on what it is you will and will not tolerate in your relationships. These are your boundaries. Talking about boundaries could honestly be a whole video on its own, so let me know in the comments if that's something you'd be interested in watching. Now, once you establish your boundaries, you need to communicate them clearly. And remember, it's not about demanding. You don't need to demand anything. It's about stating your needs clearly. And if someone isn't able to respect your boundaries, that's your cue to walk away. Do not compromise your standards or tolerate disrespect just to keep someone in your life. Because if you do that, it probably means you aren't ready for a serious relationship either. And it used to be me. That literally used to be me. So I get it. When I realized earlier this year that I was being breadcrumbed by a person that I really cared about, and I still do care about, I reaffirmed my worth by telling them, I deserve to feel valued and secure. I deserve consistency and commitment in my relationships. It seems like you're not able to offer me that right now, so I wish you the best because I need to prioritize my well-being, and I walked away. Walking away wasn't easy, but it was necessary for my peace and my self-respect. You stop accepting breadcrumbs by building your self-worth and your self-love. That's the key. When you value yourself, you'll find it easier to walk away from people or situations that don't serve you. You'll use discernment to decide whether or not somebody can meet your needs. Desperate and needy energy repels. So instead, I want you to focus your energy on your self-growth and not on someone who isn't even sure whether or not they value you. When you do this, you'll start naturally attracting people who will make you feel loved and valued without making it feel like it's a hard task to do that, because love should never feel like it's a constant struggle. Some ways that I've built up my self-esteem is by reading, journaling, practicing gratitude, or even listening to affirmation videos while I sleep. And since I've started doing that, I'll just catch myself throughout the day saying the affirmations in my head like, whoa, I really am that girl. I am beautiful. I am always divinely protected and guided. I love myself, and I am worthy of the love and respect that I deserve. I surrender my worries and my anxieties to God and the universe. I choose love over fear. There's so many affirmations that you could use and come up with to help yourself in your own self-esteem. I also meditate and go to the gym to keep myself focused, and I got some hobbies. I made it a goal of mine to start learning a little bit of the guitar this year. Estoy intentando aprender español. And I have been super consistent with my content creating. I make these videos hoping that it can resonate with people, but if I'm being completely honest, it really does help my mental as well. It's important to figure out what works best for you, whether that be a workout, a 5-minute guided meditation, or something different entirely. If you want commitment, but the person who's giving you breadcrumbs doesn't know what they want, it's a compatibility issue. Your desires are not aligning. Don't fool yourself into thinking that you're just going with the flow and taking things slow, because if you are unhappy, if you're not satisfied with the pace of things and you're feeling stuck or stagnant in the relationship, then you're just going to end up feeling drained and exhausted. Sometimes you walking away is what this person needs in order to realize that they have internal shit that they need to work through in order to be able to commit to you. Or maybe you walking away is just one step closer to bringing you to the person that's actually capable of giving you what you deserve. I'm not saying you need to completely shut the door on the breadcrumber, but you need to redirect your energy into yourself. When you quit being a bird and eating this person's breadcrumbs, you'll stop settling for relationships with people that aren't able to meet your needs or your standards. Choose self-respect over inconsistency and minimal effort. Know your value and refuse to offer discounts. Don't be impressed by the bare minimum. People who don't treat you well aren't going to start treating you better just because you work harder. You don't need to earn someone's affection or prove that you're worthy of commitment. I used to think that, and it literally gets you nowhere. You might think that breadcrumbing is just a normal part of dating, but remember, even pigeons get tired of it eventually. You don't need to be chasing after the next crumb because you aren't a pigeon. You deserve the whole loaf of bread. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, prove it by giving it a thumbs up and leave a bird emoji in the comments if you are giving up breadcrumbs in 2024. Also, let me know in the comments if you've ever experienced breadcrumbing before, because I am nosy and I'm curious. Let me know. Talk to you soon. Bye.